Good afternoon, everybody. We over here at Rico's crib, aka I didn't have anything prepared.
The
I
bird.
haven't had
Yes.
the best day. What we're gonna talk about today is Top Gun Maverick, starring Tom Cruise and and the
And
guy
cast. And cast.
and cast, yeah, and I don't know, wet clothes. I don't know what's his name.
Which
He was
one?
in this movie, Miles Teller. He was in what movie was he in? Miles Teller.
Val Kilmer?
No,
Who?
remember the guy who played the guy who died in the first movie? I mean, his son,
Yeah,
the one who played
Rooster.
his son.
All right,
What
Goose.
other movies has he been? Has he been in?
You asking the wrong person, bro. I'm not a
Miles
movie
Teller.
buff like that. But
Well, he's a famous dude. He's rich and all that. So, Top Gun Maverick. What our first thoughts were? I did watch the movie like the night before. I
Okay.
watched it like years and years ago. I didn't remember anymore, so I wanted to watch it again.
Really? You watched Top Gun?
Yeah, I invested the 4.99 the night before.
Okay.
I watched it.
Did it live up to your expectations in the second movie since you just watched the first?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it was okay. Like they made the same thing, just the 2022 version kind of thing. Like
Okay.
if they would have made the same movie, that's what they would have made in the what was it, 80s, 90s, whatever.
Okay. So at least
Like
it
it was
wasn't
the
like
same
it
thing.
wasn't like a cheap knockoff or a remake. I bet.
No, not at all. I mean, I liked it. I felt like it was like some of the things that happened, like especially towards the ending.
Yeah, the ending was wild.
Nah.
But hey, it
It
is what
was
it is.
too unrealistic sometimes. When he goes on the jet thing that they were trying out
Oh, to try to
with
go
the
to Mach 10?
military, him surviving it and all that is the way he survived it is
Yeah, going to Mach 10. So, all right. So Top Gun is a great movie. It made a lot of people want to become pilots. There are those movies that come out during certain times in history that really motivate the charge for individuals to join the armed forces. Top Gun is really one of those. It's a Air Force program that finds the best fighter pilot program, and a lot of that is pretty accurate in regards to American military aviation. Though I don't know if we have. I don't know how old or aged our program is because we have some of the top military equipment in the world. So I don't know if the fifth generation jet fighters in other countries really are outpacing us when it comes to just the military perspective. But
as far as military investments, like financial investments, no.
Yeah, no, but I feel we play way more. But I think when it comes to like dog fighting with with jets, I think America's not still. We still do have A-10 Warthogs, and we might have Hornets and but like F-15 Eagles and F-14 Tomcats and stuff like that. If I'm wrong, correct me. But those outdated, we still have those in use, but we do have F-22 Raptors, and we do have a lot of up to date fighting class modern day aircraft. It's just, but we still use a lot of older model aircraft because they still get the job done. Personally, my favorite as far as flying aircraft, like is the A-10 Warthog. A-10 Warthog, that thing does it.
So for those in the audience who don't know what
go look it up.
Those things are.
A-10
I'm
Warthog,
not saying it's me. It's just
A-10 Warthog
speaking.
with the Gatling rifle at the beginning of it. Pretty much takes the whole plane fire.
What was the most interesting out of the movie? The most interesting thing.
All right. So
I'm not gonna lie. I fell asleep for 3 minutes. You didn't notice. We watched the movie together. I don't know. I wasn't too engaged with it. Like I feel like the second act just kind of took a nosedive.
So
too much exposition,
Yeah, it was a lot, man. All right. So when the movie started, right, I didn't know what to expect. The first part of the movie with Maverick, still
he took the test.
Yeah, with the test flight, right? And what they showed a lot of affluence. They showed a guy who was still in the Air Force, aged, doing test runs for the Air Force. It just kind of feel like he was kind of offshoot doing his own thing, which the military is a little bit stricter when it comes to that. But he's got his own hangar somewhere in Arizona, I would suppose, and he bought his own aircraft, his own old school fighter, what World War II fighter,
like they're
motorcycles.
cheap or something.
But hey, you know,
even if they're super
yeah,
old,
and the thing about it
still a
is
couple million.
he stayed at the rank of captain. Like he literally was he kept at his rank. He wouldn't move up, and he allowed Iceman to move up in rank.
Iceman definitely.
Yeah, and he didn't want to move up in rank because I guess he still wanted to fly. So I get it, but they showed all this whirlwind of, you know, he has this aloof life, but you know, he was missing some things. So when they called him to come back after he pulled that stunt with the test flight, and you know, he had a team behind him. Well, I thought it was cool. And when they sent him back to Top Gun, the thing about Top Gun that at least in this movie when it Maverick is I didn't like the supposed arrogance of those in the Air Force when it came to the objective.
You mean the class?
The class. I didn't like the fact that, because you know, we're looking at characters and we're looking at a movie.
Damn, I finished it.
I see that, bro. Done. I see.
The next podcast, I have another one.
Oh my god! But the thing I thought was interesting was like you got all these contrasting characters. You know, there's tempers can flare in the military, but it was the lack of protocol and the lack of seriousness when it came to executing the mission. If these are the best of the best out of flight academy and flight school, they would have understood pushing the envelope, and it wouldn't have been a lot of egos. There wouldn't have been on all those trying to prove the situations and talk a lot of cash trash and all that, which is in the military. But when it comes time to be about business, it's about executing the run, executing the flight patterns, looking at what needs to be done. That would have been or it would have been kind of boring because they would have been showing up every day on point, trying to meet the needs and exceed. And the risks they were taking in some of the flights, I could get some freestyle stuff, but that's just kind of not how the military wouldn't have been with that level of arrogance, especially if they had a mission that they needed to execute. And the thing about it is, you mean to tell me that they had these Top Guns out of flight school, but they didn't have anybody seasoned in the Air Force already to run a actual live, which actually seemed like it was a covert mission, because it wasn't just, it was basically like, you're going to enemy territory, you got a 2-hit payload. It just, and you got rookies, you got kind of like got rookies doing that from flight school. So it was a good movie though.
They should have made more. I feel like there was a lot of exposition in the movie, which basically means they were talking too much instead of showing. So like when you an easy rule is show, don't tell. Like, okay, the fact the plane's this and that, I mean, that's cool, but a lot of people don't understand it. And even if they did, it's fine, but you don't connect with something when you're just being told about it. Yeah, I might as well just go on Google and read something about planes. Like, just show me what happened. That first scene, how they open the movie when he flies the plane and all that, they're showing that. They could have perfectly said, oh, I see here that you did this, that day with the sound thing, with the flight test, that was great. That's one thing, but no, they actually took the time and showed it.
Yeah.
So I feel that would have been great.
They had to get him to pull you in when he broke the sound.
For example, with the son of was Goose, Rooster was him or the dad?
The dad was Goose. The son was Rooster.
The son was Rooster. Yeah. So at least let me have the son making like a great scene, he's so good and that's why he got called into Top Gun. That would have been great to give the character more of personality that you can connect more with. Or maybe after that show him overwhelmed about his father's death and how the other guy could have done something. Okay. Do that instead of the second act being so slow and I remember I went to the bathroom, I just wasn't engaged. So they could have invested that time into making more of a connection to. So you talk about character development, for example, just more character development. That way I can care more, like me as an audience, care more about what's going on and care more about his pain, what he thinks, what he's feeling. They didn't really do that. They focused too much on Tom Cruise. And this movie was more of a I don't know. I felt like it lacked a lot of character development, and I feel like that's very important.
All right. I kind of feel opposite that, because all right. So when watching that movie, watching Top Gun, I knew it was going to be about Tom Cruise leading in, right? But what I did understand about early on in the movie was they had a plot driver, which was more than just the school. They actually had a mission objective, which is serious, right? That means you get the brass involved. You got John Hamm, and you got the brass that's basically like, you guys got to perform. So it's bigger than Tom Cruise. It's bigger than that, than Top Gun. It's bigger than just those pilots. So like, okay, you guys, they have a deadline. So I'm like, all right. You saw a lot of the old way as well as the very liberal way of doing it compared to which is weird, the new way, the new Air Force, and the more strict way of doing it. And then you saw that you saw like the somewhat of the favoritism between Maverick, who was maybe better, but he didn't want to progress. And you saw Iceman, which he might not have been the best pilot, but you saw that he embraced,
he always wanted to do more.
He embraced his growth, became commander. So you see a lot of different dynamics in those regards. A lot of things that I didn't see because there was just too much to go in the movie. You saw Maverick trying to create a romantic relationship.
Oh, don't even get started on
you
that.
Saw Maverick trying to school young cadets and try to be the echelon of what they should live up to. You have a sword issue between him and the son of his partner who died, which is interesting because he did.
But that's usually how blockbuster movies are.
True,
like they should be able to handle it.
But there was too much going on because it wasn't just like who's going to be the best in the class. It wasn't about the class. It was literally about, we got to run this mission. And because the mission trumps everything. And also it's Maverick fighting against the brass. So there's so many aspects. There's so many components to get over that it really convolutes the whole movie. So you have to enjoy it for what it is. I saw that, okay, the brass doesn't like Tom Cruise. The crew don't like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise and Rooster. Tom Cruise and his love interest. On top of, they still have to blow up this whole spot. And these kids are flying ain't ready. That's a lot going on.
Yeah, but they wasted the second act.
Yeah, they wasted.
So instead of wasting the second act, invest that second act into building all of that out.
Well, think about it. They did try to do all of that. They try to show you that him and the woman are getting there, and he's bonding with them playing football.
No, but the relationship between him and that woman. Did you feel anything?
No, I don't even know who that woman was.
That was horrible.
I don't know who that woman was. It was like she's at the bar.
I think the girl's name in the movie was Charlie. I think that's the character's name. They didn't really explain what happened to Charlie. Like, did she get married? Did she forget about him? Did he forget about her? Like, I didn't really get that.
They just threw her in there, right?
Number two,
they just kind of threw her in there.
They mentioned Charlie, but they didn't even mention her by name, which is okay. So you kind of messed that up. She was a big deal in the first movie.
Yeah.
You don't care about her because she looks old or whatever. That's fine. Mm-hmm. At least make me feel something with this other relationship, like everyone did with Charlie.
I don't know why we
I saw that and it was like
I don't even know. It's like they had to build it so that it gave Maverick a reason to come back. Because think about it.
No, because he ran into her at the bar.
Yeah, but think about it. He was going to run the mission. They created a love interest so that when he goes to the mission, he has a reason to return. It would have been they didn't play a suicide.
Why a reason to return?
He was going to come back for the romantic interest, right? If there was no romantic interest, it would have been a suicide mission for him. It would have been the old the switching out of the old guard. He would have went with him and Rooster. They would have made the run. He would have died. Rooster would have lived on to carry on the legacy, and then basically Maverick and Goose.
That would have been fine too.
That was that, but they put that romantic interest in it, so it would give the hero someone to come back to, the knight in shining armor to come back to the.
He can try to come back to be Rooster's, I don't know, mentor or whatever, because they were fighting and now
they did it already.
Went through something.
They did it already. No. They did it already. That's why he squared up with him when he was like, okay, we're gonna run this flight. He squared up with him. He's like, yo, we're gonna have a problem. He's like, no, we don't have no problem, yada yada yada. it's a movie. The reality of that movie is that if they really would have brought Maverick in to train, he would have did that. He would have been like, all right, cool, this is what I can show you guys. And they probably had a coordinator going over that. He would have showed them some moves. It would have been business. Out of respect if it was business, I really wish they wouldn't have had put that political component of striking on a mission, because that's what they ramped you up for.
Which one? What political?
Oh, that strike. You know, they struck somewhere in Russia, or they struck somewhere in
I think
Siberia.
I heard someone say it was like China or something.
No, it was Russia.
But they didn't show any actual flags or set on.
No, that's what they do nowadays. You really can't go out there and say that. That's the part I didn't like. We have to strike this place.
I think it was great.
I didn't like that part.
Don't make it real like that. I don't like.
No, my thing is like those are the days of Rambo and stuff. I'm good off of those. Now, train them to be the best of the best, and then let them go through a competition, and then let someone take Maverick out and pass the guard. Let him go retire and be with the woman, and let Rooster them take over. Let Rooster be the best.
So kind of like Maverick die and let Rooster kind of take over for.
Or then no one had to even die. No one had to die. All that really would have happened is that, you know, Rooster, they could have had just this flight school, and basically like, look, we everybody went through Top Gun. We're calling you guys back because we need to see who's the best of the best. For whatever reason, the military want to come on, whatever move one. And then they put him against Maverick. Maverick shows them all up, and then what happens is Rooster comes out. They go through their little back and forth, whatever. Rooster comes out on top, and maybe they'll have the other. I forgot if her name was Payback or whatever. The other girl pilot, she can come out because you know they're gonna do woke.
Oh, she was the best thing out of the movie.
But yeah, and she was actually really good.
She was actually really good. She was cute as hell.
Yeah, because between I don't know if her name was Payback, but Rooster.
If her name, Phoenix.
I think maybe her name was Phoenix.
Yeah,
because I think the black guy was Payback. Black guy was Payback, and then and the other
so
and the guy with the glasses, Bob. His name was Bob. His name was something else, but they
and he went by the same. He was very funny.
They were the best. They pretty much perceived that they were the best of the pilots. But I didn't like the political spin they try to put in, like, oh, we need to attack this. You know, we need to attack this force that's making nuclear weapons. It's funny that they look very Russian.
I would have just made up you're right, but I wouldn't have said an actual country because I hate when they do that. I feel like you're turning a whole
but they don't
another country.
They don't say another country. They're gonna say we're gonna hit a target, and then just
I will make up a country.
And then they put up what a target is. It's a mountainous region, Siberia, Russia. It's not. If you're in the desert, there's the desert one. If you're in the jungle, you're in the jungle. If you're in the mountains, you're in the mountains. It's not like they hit American suburbia, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's that. And then
you made me remember about that girl.
And then Hangman. And then Hangman was the asshole. The asshole. The one who thought he was the best.
On Maverick?
On Maverick.
Or the first one?
On the second one. His name was Hangman. It's like, oh, remember he hanged you out to dry.
Oh, the one who saved him at the end.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't like the fact that he was the one when it really got ridiculous. And that's the only gripe I have about the movie. Really, when it got ridiculous. When it got ridiculous, when they started doing the tier. Okay, you guys hit the strike zone. You guys are getting out. I don't expect anybody to get shot down. I expect them to kind of get they run and do a dog. They do a fox and hound, and they barely get out, but they get out, right? Not the whole get shot down, come back. It turned to 007, turned to Mission Impossible. Like it turned to a whole nother movie.
That is true. And that's what I was saying about the movie being unrealistic.
Yeah, unrealistic. They blew up the airfield, but somehow they were able to get the last remaining Tomcat and fly out of there.
I feel like that was like kind of like a rush thing. Like that part right there could have been like half a movie.
Yeah,
they just did it in like 10 minutes.
And they just threw that in because they wanted a big climactic. Like action scene. You're literally flying an old school foreign jet in different language. And you know what? If we go back, you have to look at the language that it was written in. What codes? What language comes up? They'll let you know a lot about where you were at. And what they were saying,
probably either Chinese or Russian.
So yeah, and then I don't recall, but think about when they were leaving, and they're like, "Oh, okay, all right," and they were leaving. You get to fly out of there,
but that's possible though.
Yeah,
all of that's possible
in a movie.
Very unlikely.
No, but think about it. The boldest move, I learned this in Pretty Little Liars. Don't laugh, everybody. The boldest move, the bolder the move, the less they question it. I'm telling you, it's possible. No one would do it because it's so obvious
in a movie,
but that's why There wouldn't be question about
Yeah,
it.
you know what? It was what it was. I'm glad it ended the way it did. I personally, I don't feel like the movie retired Maverick.
The right way, yeah.
I don't think
I agree.
Tom Cruise's character really would have went out like that. I feel
He got the paycheck.
Tom Cruise's character Maverick would have went out in a blaze of glory. That's the way he went out.
All right, Richardo's yawning already. You guys have a good one. Let us know down in the comments below what the hell you think about Top Gun Maverick. Was it good? Was it bad?
Did you even watch it?
Did you even watch it? No, a lot of people watched it. They watched it more than Doctor Strange. So that's a lot of people. On a scale of 1 to 10, how was Phoenix? I don't know. Let us know. Like, comment, subscribe. If anyone's not watching us, they're missing out. And yeah, have a good day.